And if, the ones that leave, bye.
As the mayor, I have a different window into the police department than many of our council members, and I made the decision that I firmly believe was the right one at this time.
The public deserves more than that, though, Mayor, respectfully.
She is out of her element and has done nothing to improve public safety here in Seattle.
Good afternoon, beautiful people, and happy Monday. So can any of you tell me how long Seattle's mayor, Katie Wilson, has been in office? Because if you said only 8 months, you are correct. And now after only 8 months, Seattle residents are already trying to recall her. A formal recall effort has been filed against Wilson, with the people behind it arguing that this is not about some personal disagreement with the mayor. They are saying that it comes down to one thing, and that one thing is public safety. And when you look at everything that's happened in Seattle over the last several months, the deadly Bite of Seattle shooting, the controversy surrounding former police chief Shon Barnes, the fight over surveillance cameras, and growing tension between Wilson and members of the city council, this recall effort didn't exactly come out of nowhere. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Nellie Miranda.
A recall effort is now underway against Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, and the woman behind it says this is about public safety. She's pointing to the police chief's departure, conditions in several Seattle neighborhoods, and the mayor's handling of the city's surveillance cameras.
As always, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Okay, so the woman leading the efforts to recall Mayor Katie Wilson is Seattle resident Melinda Jacobson. Jacobson and Dale Osterud filed recall charges with King County elections on August 11th. Their allegations is essentially that Mayor Wilson has neglected her responsibility to maintain public safety and peace in Seattle. The thread through all of this is pretty simple. The people who are supposed to look out for us often don't, and seniors can feel that more than anyone, especially when it comes to Medicare. A lot of families end up helping their parents to navigate Medicare, and it can get confusing very fast. There are different plans, different coverage, and different costs. And millions of seniors may be on a plan that no longer fits their needs simply because they haven't reviewed their options. And that is why I partnered with CASHAPP, because CASHAPP connects you with licensed Medicare advisors who compare every Medicare plan available nationwide, not just one plan from one insurance company. They look at your doctors, prescriptions, coverage needs, and budget to help you understand what actually works for you. And the best part is, CASHAPP advocates for you and not the insurance company. Their advisors aren't paid to push certain plans. So if you're already on the best plan, they'll tell you. And if there's a better option for you, they'll help you switch. There are no pushy sales tactics. The call is free, takes less than 20 minutes of your day. And on average, people who reviewed their plans with CASHAPP save about $1,100 per year. That is real money back in your pocket. So if you are 65 or older and on Medicare, or you're helping a parent navigate it, please call 646-817-8160. That is 646-817-8160, or go to askchapter.org/Nellie. Now back to the story.
Did you vote for Mayor Katie Wilson?
No.
Just 8 months into Mayor Wilson's term, Melinda Jacobson says she's gone from frustrated voter to now leading a push to recall the mayor.
For a number of reasons, but the prime reason is she is out of her element and has done nothing to improve public safety here in Seattle.
Melinda and her husband filed the recall charges at the King County Elections Office in person on Tuesday.
The mayor is derelict in her duties for public safety of the city of Seattle. That's it in a nutshell. I cannot imagine anybody that used good judgment to not fire, she got around that, but did a forced resignation of a chief in the middle of a murder investigation. That is just uncalled for.
Now, that's their allegation, and nothing has been proven in court. But just the mere fact that we are having this conversation 8 months into her administration says something about just how turbulent Wilson's first year has become. And again, one of the biggest turning points was what happened at the Bite of Seattle, where 3 people were killed and several others injured. And following that shooting, the criticism of the mayor intensified. If you thought she was bad before, you think she's terrible now, especially after Seattle's police chief was forced out. He was used as the scapegoat. Former Chief Shon Barnes was approved July 2025, and by July 2026, he was apparently disapproved, aka fired. Aside from the bite of the Seattle incident, there's the surveillance camera problem that has been following Mayor Katie Wilson since the beginning of her administration. And this is where the disagreement between Wilson and some members of Seattle City Council becomes especially important. Seattle has a real-time crime center with CCTV cameras operating in areas including downtown, North Aurora, and Chinatown International District. And according to the Seattle City Council, that system has helped solve at least 561 violent crime cases citywide through February 2026. But Mayor Wilson said, oh no, the cameras are invading people's privacy. Get rid of them. So in March, she paused the expansion of the CCTV programs while the city conducts a privacy and data audit. And she has also paused the use of automatic license plate readers.
Downtown on 3rd Avenue in the Belltown and Pine area, terrible.
And Wilson's approach to the city's controversial surveillance camera program.
They don't prevent crime, but they help fight crime in that they're capable of capturing a suspect, and that gets passed on to the police department, who can do their job.
Stadium district cameras were turned on during the World Cup because of a credible threat. As soon as visitors left, the cameras went dark. Wilson has repeatedly said she's waiting on a UPenn audit and NYU study before making a decision, before turning them on and expanding the CCTV program.
Do something about it. We don't need more studies.
I do want to point out that the mayor did not shut down every single Seattle police camera, and in some areas, those cameras remain operational. Katie Wilson believes that the cameras invade privacy, while some city council members strongly disagree with the way that she's balancing those two priorities. Public Safety Committee Chair Bob Kettle publicly urged Wilson to reconsider the stadium district shutdown, arguing that the surveillance technology can be critical in investigating serious crimes. Now, I'm not so sure how I feel on the cameras. On one hand, they can help solve crimes, but on the other hand, it does bring us closer. It does bring us closer to a surveillance state under the guise of fighting crime. But this brings us back to the recall, because the people trying to remove Wilson are pointing to these decisions as evidence of a broader failure on public safety. The city council do not believe that she is ready to lead Seattle, but her answer when she was questioned about her lack of experience, she responds with, I have a great team. Yeah, okay. But are you great?
There have been a lot of questions in the room today about your relative lack of experience. It's something that was brought up on the campaign trail. Black community leaders brought it up yesterday. As Chris alluded to, council members have brought it up as well. You're 7 months into the job. What can you say to community members who are concerned that you have not, at this point, shown the leadership capability to run this city for 3 more years?
I'll just say I'm working with a great team, and I believe that we are making the right decisions for this.
But let me remind you all who Katie Wilson is. She is a 40-plus-year-old socialist who's never held a real job and has been supported by her parents till today. She has spent more than a decade as an organizer and transit advocate. She co-founded the Transit Writers Union in 2011 and led the organization working on public transit, minimum wage campaigns, renter protections, and progressive taxation. And I think that's part of what makes her administration so interesting to watch, because campaigning and organizing is one thing, but running a city of roughly 750,000 people, overseeing police, homelessness, budgets, economic development, and major emergencies is something completely different. She's barely qualified, in my opinion, she's barely qualified to run a coffee shop. So why would the people of Seattle give her the keys to the city?
The North Seattle resident isn't just critical of Wilson's policies, but of her leadership style.
Being an activist and holding a public office are two different ball games. Perhaps she should have stayed being an activist.
Melinda's effort is only at the beginning.
This is not personal. This is just incompetence.
Her recall charges have to be reviewed by the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. If they clear that, a Superior Court judge decides if the charges prove there was intentional wrongdoing wrongdoing or reckless mismanagement. Only then can supporters start collecting signatures. They have 180 days to get tens of thousands of valid signatures to force a recall election.
If her heart is in the right place, she'd be better off resigning right now. She's in over her head, and the city council president, I'm sure, would be more than happy to assume the role.
In response to the recall, Mayor Katie Wilson's office said, quote, "We are aware of the petition that has been filed. While it does not appear to have merit, our focus remains where it belongs, on making life safer and more affordable for the people of Seattle. The courts will address any questions. We will address the needs of Seattle," end quote. Jason Rantz, a Seattle radio host, says that the city has gotten worse since Katie Wilson got in office, with crime being up, homelessness, and open drug air markets. Jason Rantz, a Seattle radio host, says that the city has gotten worse since Katie Wilson got in office, with crime going up, homelessness, and open air drug markets.
You live there. Has she done anything to make the life of people in the city safer?
No, we're getting into a place where we're seeing a rise in crime. We're seeing more homelessness. We're seeing more open air drug use. There are some significant problems. Some of them, to be fair, existed before Katie Wilson, but they're starting to get worse again. And that's the problem. There's no real plan to attack some of these issues that have the biggest impact on quality of life and our basic safety. And that's the reality that's creating this political pressure on her, which maybe starts to get her to move towards the center, or at least maybe a little less on the crazy town side. I don't see that happening, at least in the short term, but we'll see how this progresses. I will say the Seattle City Council, with the exception of like one member, have actually come out against the mayor and have criticized her. In Seattle, that is completely unheard of.
Right.
That almost never happened.
Well, those who support the mayor would argue that 8 months isn't enough time to judge an administration, and that many of Seattle's problems existed long before she walked into City Hall. But from her lack of real-life experience, she's not ready to run anything. From telling people to boycott one of the biggest employers in her state, Starbucks, to telling businesses bye, she is not competent to be the mayor. Because whether this recall succeeds or completely collapses in court, the political warning signs are already there. 8 months in, and residents are calling for her removal. She's fighting with members of the city council, and her response to everything is, "I'm the mayor now." Her police chief is gone. Drugs, homelessness, and public safety remains a concern. So the question isn't simply whether Katie Wilson will get recalled, but whether she can stabilize her administration before the dissatisfaction gets worse. But what are your thoughts? Is this recall effort justified based on what's happened during Katie Wilson's first 8 months? Or are they trying to remove her before it gets worse? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you got any value from today's video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to support the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss any future updates. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.